Ripple just pulled Wall Street into its world. No one is ready for what happens next. We're seeing BlackRock, Google, Coinbase, the US Senate, massive XRP whales, all moving, all converging towards the same battleground. The XRP ledger, and not in like 5 years from now, but now. Ripple, they're not just holding another conference this fall, it's the staging of a global demonstration of power. Swell 2025 is the lineup no one saw coming. BlackRock's director of digital assets will be speaking publicly on Ripple stage for the first time. That's the world's largest asset manager finally stepping into Ripple's orbit. We knew it was coming. And not alone. Moody's is joining. The chair of the NASDAQ is speaking. Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson. As hard as I've been on him at times, it's going to be good to hear from him. The full roster is going to be there. They haven't said a word about XRP until now. It's coming. And if even a hint drops about the future XRP ETF, the narrative, it flips instantly when you get that BlackRock announcement that they will be filing, and that's coming, you best believe it. While the spotlight hits the stage, the real action, it's happening quietly. Behind the scenes. That's what these conferences are for. In just 2 weeks, though, we've seen 340 million XRP, more than $1 billion worth, that has been scooped and taken off exchanges here. Headlines scream Coinbase is dumping. You know better than that. If that was any other coin, they would be yelling this is bullish. Google, we're seeing this resurface again in the headlines. The Ripple Killer. When everything is the Ripple Killer, that tells you something. You're on the right track. Everyone is gunning for you, and good luck to you. There's a lot to go over. Let's get into it here. To start off with here, BlackRock will be at Ripple Swell 2025. Ripple just dropped a bomb. BlackRock Director of Digital Assets is speaking at Swell this year in New York. BlackRock hasn't said a word yet about XRP, but we know it's coming. It's just a matter of time. They are not going to concede the number 3 crypto asset in the world. They are dominating cryptocurrencies, and they're going to want to continue to do so. Ripple leadership, Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. We haven't heard from him in quite some time. Industry heavyweights here. Again, like I said, Moody's will be there. A lot of big players. The chair of the NASDAQ. This is the integration, the future of crypto and finance. November 4th through 5th. It couldn't be any bigger and at just the right time. I think we are close to the next stage of this growth cycle. Just a matter of time here. Whales, they're accumulating. They understand what's happening. We see the price come down a bit, but 340 million XRP tokens, over $1 billion worth, scooped up in just 2 weeks. 268 million has been withdrawn from exchanges here. We keep hearing that Coinbase, they're dumping their supply. Look, when Coinbase has a bunch of XRP, that's not like their personal XRP. That's not like Brian Armstrong's personal investment that he just has sitting on the exchange. That's investors, whether it's institutions, retail investors. And so when you see that supply coming off the exchange, well, it's coming for long-term investment in the security of self-custody. That's what's happening. If we saw that action happening with Ethereum or Solana, everyone would be flipping out saying, oh, this is such good news. The supply shock is coming. But the narrative when it's XRP is Coinbase is dumping their coins. It's stupid. It's nonsense. It's not what's happening at all. On-chain data reveals massive accumulation while headlines are really misleading the public. That's what's going on here. And I have to remind you, the Zhao DAO, the first DAO in XRP ledger history, will be launching soon. Link down below. Go to Zhao DAO. Put your name on the email list so you know when it's launching. They're just stress testing the EVM sidechain, and when they know it's ready to go, which should be any moment, you're going to get the word. Put your email in there, get on the wait list. This is a big moment for the XRP ledger. Google, we're hearing it has the XRP killer. I have covered this a little bit so far, but not so fast. Understand this. Google's, what they're doing, it's bullish to me that a big tech company's jumping in here into crypto and blockchain, but this is a permissioned and tokenless closed system. And so what we see happening with the XRP ledger is it's a permissionless, it's open source, But it has permission systems built on top. That's what we see them doing right now, right? With digital identity, being able to KYC. So if you're someone like BlackRock and you want to run on top of this permissionless system, you can do so and control that environment. That's bullish. It allows the big players to jump in here and do a lot of this DeFi and things like that in a compliant manner. But still, you are on permissionless software, so you can easily let your customers pull their funds off and do whatever they want with it, right? So, you know, the approach here with XRP Ledger is vastly more powerful than what Google is trying to do right now. But it doesn't mean that Google systems won't link up with XRP Ledger or Ethereum blockchain or Solana or some of these other permissionless blockchains. To me, seeing these people start to think about this system and build this ecosystem out is bullish. It tells you this space is real. But what Google's doing here, it's not going to replace a real blockchain, a crypto. It just isn't. It's an ancillary system that at best will be built on top of these, standalone, decentralized systems that we've had for some time. This isn't a threat. It's really validation. Big tech is now just catching up because they can do so now. They have clear rules, and we're going to get more. We'll look at that. But we're going to see more and more of this. It doesn't mean that they are going to beat the XRP Ledger or any of these other decentralized technologies. Good luck to them if they try, though. We take a look right here. RLUSD breaking 700 million in market cap. So slowly and steadily continuing to go up here. Ripple stablecoin just passed 710 million in market cap, and it's being used, not just traded. So these just aren't funny numbers on the screen. This is real use case, and that's the thing. They could pump that market cap up to ridiculous heights if they wanted to, but this is actually building utility and building use of the coin. They're going live in Africa with Chipper Cash, a yellow card for remittances, treasury rails, and climate insurance payouts. So actually putting that coin in motion, building a real ecosystem. That's what's important. We know it's fully backed with treasuries, of course, real world usage. And remember this is just phase one. It's already scalable. It's already global and infrastructure foundation. This is the real deal. And I said when this was first announced, we want to see Ripple be able to have success here. Launch this, grow it, get users, and they're doing exactly that. And I hope it continues, and I hope we see more retail users be able to easily have access to RLUSD, specifically on XRP Ledger rails. Because remember, it's both XRP Ledger and Ethereum blockchain, which is great. It's multi-chain, but let's hope you have more exchanges supporting the XRP Ledger variant, because that's going to be a very usable coin, and I think people are going to like that stable coin, and it's just going to fuel liquidity on the XRP Ledger and a lot more trading volume, in my opinion. With XRP, that's a great place to trade as long as you have volume, and this is going to be good for the whole ecosystem. They're doing a great job so far. A lot of work ahead of us. I think a lot of growth ahead of us, which is exciting, but so far they're hitting on all cylinders. That's good. Senate dropped a landmark crypto bill. The U.S. Senate just released the most detailed crypto legislation in history, a 182-page comprehensive framework. These kind of things take time, right? But we expect it could be done before year end. That would be so bullish. To me, this is the bigger one, even bigger in a lot of ways than the stablecoin stuff. They've introduced ancillary assets, lighter regulatory rules for these types of token projects, NFT exemption, clear exemptions from security laws. These NFTs, they are collectibles. They're not securities. Developer protection, validators and devs shielded from AML and security liability. That's important. We want people to be able to run infrastructure, not have to worry about being sued. And we also want them to be able to go out there and build the future. As long as you're trying to follow the law, and the government's not going to come after you, and that's important. And federal preemption, bank-friendly custody rules, federal laws preempt state patchwork. So we want, throughout the whole United States to have a clear framework where everyone knows they can participate in the future and build out that infrastructure. This is a big one. Hopefully it gets done here shortly. We're having an ETF shakeup here right now. It's interesting. Bitcoin ETF outflows currently. Total outflows so far this month, 162 million, but Ethereum still in the spotlight, 1.4 billion in ETF inflows. Is this an indication that we are shifting to alt season? Personally myself, that's not the case. If Bitcoin goes on another romp and pushes its market cap much higher, that's fine. It just gives us that much more runway. We are not going to have a full growth cycle where altcoins don't do anything, where Ethereum doesn't set new all-time highs, where XRP isn't explosive and sets, really significant new all-time highs, and in the rest of your crypto assets out there, they're going to have their moment. We know that. So whether it starts to happen now or a little bit down the road isn't that important, but we are seeing some indicators we may be transitioning into that time in the cycle where altcoins do well. Again, we had some whales making multi-billion-dollar bets on Ethereum. We are seeing the ETFs kind of follow that idea as well. And remember, soon we're going to have an XRP ETF, so we could get in on the action there. Probably a Solana ETF as well, and maybe some bundled products. Like, this is a great time for people to start getting bullish about altcoins. We will see how it plays out, but it will happen whether it's now or later. Robinhood added to the S&P 500. Look, regulated, profitable, and most importantly, real business operations. Robinhood has a lot of different lines of business that are quite large, and we saw everyone's complaining that strategy was left out. Now, they have a ton of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. That's great, a lot of value there, but it's all built on debt. They have no real core business there, and I think this cycle, our pain point at some point is going to be all of these crypto treasury companies, and we're going to look back at that and say, why didn't someone take control of the situation? And strategy is the worst of it because they had the most debt. Great asset to have on your books, but you have to be able to weather the storm. And if you're going to have a bunch of debt, you best have an underlying business that can service it. I agree with that. Strategy should not be in the S&P 500. I think it's too dangerous. Ultimately, I believe it's going to blow up. But Robinhood, they're in from their brokerage services to their crypto services. They got a lot going on here, and they're doing quite well. They're included. There's going to be more crypto companies included. Maybe strategy gets in there, but it really, in my opinion, should not be because it doesn't have a true core business. And for that reason, in my mind, it's very dangerous. Last week here for Ledger, they have their deal going on right now. You buy a Ledger device, the qualifying ones, you get some Bitcoin back. Their Ledger Stacks, their flagship model, you get $80 in Bitcoin. Their Ledger Flex, I believe it's called here, the Flex. Yes, I'm going to get myself one of these. You get $70 in Bitcoin back from there. Go through the different models, see the one that works for you. Self-custody your assets. Get some crypto back. Again, this is the final week for this deal. You don't have to keep it in Bitcoin. You could swap it for XRP, FLR, whatever you like. Do what you want there. But if you're going to get a hardware device, now is the time. Again, this is the final week for that. All right, next story here. September 5th, 2025. Today is the day we saw the narrative change here a little bit. The U.S. job reports shocked markets, but it's one of these bizarre world things where bad news is good news, right? Only 22,000 jobs added versus 75,000 expected. Unemployment, the highest since October 2021, 4.3%. Last net loss is 2020. June revisits to net loss. So we've seen the jobs report just keeps getting revised, written down, not looking good. And pretty much now it's almost a guarantee. We're going to see rate cuts after brutal jobs data. Markets are unanimous. The Fed is going to cut rates in September. 84% chance it's going to be 25 basis points. And there's a non-zero chance it's going to be 50. Now, I don't want the jumbo cut. I would rather they had already started this process, but do it slow and methodical. Hopefully they can do that. We will see, though. The pivots here, though. We understand that. And more important than the rates. The rates are part of it, of course, but it's the loosening of financial conditions that are going to be helpful, especially for altcoins, I think. We've seen that before. As they start opening the balance sheet, altcoins run in a big way. Now, a lot of people say when they do these pivots, well, some pain can be down the road a bit. And it's common sense because the reason they're pivoting is things aren't great. Like, things are scary in the labor market and those things run fast and layoffs start and whatever. But for right now where we are in this cycle, this is the catalyst we need. Whether long-term is an indicator, the next 12 or 18 months, things are going to go bad, maybe. But let's make the big money now while we can. And again, it's not the pivot that causes this problem. The reason they're pivoting is there's problems, right? And that's usually what manifests itself a little bit down the road. We'll see, though. There's been some soft landings before. Maybe we'll get it again. Only time will tell. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.